correct, or if it's if it's not your full name, if you can give me your last name as well. And then tell me who you're representing here today, whether you're the applicant, owner, or someone else involved with the project. And so I'll start top. Jess Tesler.
Hi, good morning. I'm representing the tenant City Block, the applicant for this hearing.
Okay, great. Welcome. Second here. See that we have someone under John.
Manevsky.
Could you spell your last name for me?
ANEV as in Victor, SKI.
Okay.
And this is John Sr. as well.
Okay. And how are you all connected to the project, if at all?
I'm the owner of the property.
Okay. Great. Welcome.
Right.
And we have Elisa. Lisa, are you with us? Looks like she may have some technical difficulties there. Is Charlie with us?
I won't make you suffer with it. It's Shaliel. And I am the representative for the applicant.
Got it.
And Lisa, who's having technical difficulties, her last name is Keeble, and she is with the sign manufacturing company that would be producing the signs if approved, or sign, excuse me, if approved.
Okay, great. I see we also have Kate Meehan here from the zoning department.
Yes, good morning.
Hi, Kate. All right. Lisa, are you with us?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. My computer reset for some reason right in the middle of you asking who we were.
Yeah, no problem. Charlie gave me a little bit of an intro, but could you spell your last name for me?
Yes, it's Koe, B as in boy, EL.
All right, great. Okay, are we expecting anyone else to join us here on the applicant owner side? No? Okay, let's get started. I need to read through our hearing script. This will basically just cover the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll jump into it. So this is the June 12th, 2024 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. Again, my name is David Sturkey. I'm the zoning hearing examiner. Case before us today is case number ZH20240061. That's 5049 Crookshank. The purpose of this hearing is to allow applicants and any potential approving parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. All testimony and evidence that an applicant or any other party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant, the applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. So everyone here that's here in support of this application or a part either as the applicant or the owner can talk during that time. Really, however you all want to orient that presentation is up to you. One of you can speak, all of you can speak. Really just looking to hear some background on the application, what exactly it is you're trying to do, the relief that you're requesting today, and then of course why you think that relief is appropriate. If we did have anyone from the public, they would have an opportunity to speak after the applicant had presented its case. We'll hear from the zoning division of the planning department to allow Kate to provide any testimony in addition to her staff report. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond to that argument offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. I may limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or make any comments. In the event of any technical difficulties, I'll do my best to troubleshoot those on the fly. But to the extent there's some defect that prevents us from meaningfully going forward with this hearing, I may continue or postpone the hearing at my discretion. Okay, last thing I need to do is just swear in all of our witnesses. So if you intend on providing any testimony here today, asking any questions, making any comments, doing anything other than just strictly observing at the hearing here today, the zoning code requires that I swear you in. So if that's you, if you could take yourself off of mute, need everyone to raise their right hand and to answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
I do. Okay, great. All right. Who's going to be taking the lead here on the presentation? All right,
Charlie.
Charlie, you're up. Floor is yours.
Excellent. Mr. Strickey, first off, thank you very much for allowing us to come before you today. Before we even get started, I want to absolutely thank staff for their willingness to work with us. They were instrumental in us being able to make this agenda, and at the same time has been very easy to work with. And so I just want to definitely thank Kate and her team. It's been great. So to get into the case, City Block is going into the property at 5049 Crookshank Road. If it's okay, if I can share my screen and not
Yeah,
screw that
absolutely.
up.
No problem.
All right, can you see the front page?
Nope, can't see anything.
Yeah, that's because I didn't hit that button. There we go.
Yep, you can see it.
All right, wonderful. 5049 Crookshank Road. It's located it's just to the south of Crookshank Road. It's the L-shaped center right here. At the corner is the MedMart. The tenant space that we're talking about is in this highlighted area right here. The frontage of that tenant space is 57 feet. And the reason why I point that out is by code, if we were facing a street, we would be allowed 2 square feet per 1 lineal foot, which would bring us up to the 114 square feet. However, as you can tell, the front of the space actually faces inward to the center and does not face the street, hence why we're before you today. What we're looking to do is have a sign, obviously, over our tenant space that would identify the City Block location. It would be centered over the main entry door. And I apologize, these are early pictures during the construction aspect of the project. But they'd be centered over the entry doors. The sign itself is 69.77 square feet. And we are also proposing to have a couple small window vinyls, and the total window vinyl area actually adds up to 5.625 square feet. So total square footage of the that we're asking for, or that we would have on this building, is 75.395 square feet. And again, if we were facing a street, we'd be allowed 114. So it's really kind of a unique situation due to the configuration of the center and the lack of street frontage. Now, it's important to point out, and I'm going to go back to the previous slide, that the entire center, and I'm using the measurements that the city staff pulled together, the entire center is actually allowed 502 square feet of signage, because with their measurements, they came up with the 2 square feet per 1 lineal foot to come up with 502. And we would agree with that. This is a rough measurement based off of Google, but they had a different one, but that's fine. So overall center is allowed 502, with the MedMart signage, which is this corner tenant and our tenant space still, that's only 225.9 square feet of utilized square footage. So still remaining on the property for anybody else to use as the center fills up is 276.1 square foot. So we're not asking for square footage in any capacity. It's just the ability to have a sign on an elevation that doesn't face a street. To get into actually how the sign is configured, the only portion of the sign that illuminates is the white portion that you see. This blue background does not illuminate it. It's a routed push-through letter and logo. So that square footage, the actual illumination square footage, is actually only 27.46 square feet. So it's while it looks, because it has contrast with the building elevation, the only portion that truly illuminates and will be seen, say, in the evening hours, excuse me, would be that 27.46. So it's minimal signage, but it is meant to serve a purpose for anybody approaching into the center. And with the type of services that we're looking to provide, we're looking to be able to make sure that people know where this tenant space is within the overall center. While we do have a freestanding sign out on the street that'll let you know that we're in the center, they need to be able to park as close to the doors, obviously, as humanly possible. That's why the signage on this elevation and where we've got it proposed is extremely important. It's important to note that the adjacent roads, so Crookshank Road, the signage will obviously have visibility, but also Glen Hill Way and Glenwell are in Glenway Avenue, which are just off this slide. The tenant space will also have visibility too. So not only will you be able to see the freestanding sign, but you'll also have visibility of that tenant space if we're allowed to put this sign here. In regards to the window vinyl, it's merely used to highlight the, I guess, the overall width of the tenant space and to break up the monotony of the plain window line. They're just a representation of the logo itself. And as you can see over the main doors, it's just a little, I guess, the slogan, the be seen, be heard, be healthy, the motto, excuse me, for the city block tenant. So all subtle. And if in reading the staff report correctly, these are all exempt signs anyway, but I wanted you to have a full picture of, I guess, what this space would look like so that you had that and make your decision. And again, this goes to the configuration of the sign itself. As you can see, it's a routed box with the plex that's actually pushed through. So again, the only portion that illuminates is the white logo itself. And again, this is just the dimensions of the window vinyl so that you have a clear picture of that. Here's just some additional views of the tenant space. As you can see, the architecture is similar to all the tenant spaces. That's why we feel it's important to have the signage over our doors so people are able to clearly identify where they're anticipating going once they get into the parking field and can park as close as they can to the actual entry into the location. In regards to anything else to present, I just want to go back and highlight the fact that this is a unique condition due to the configuration of the center. There are other tenants within the immediate area, and I believe staff pointed those out in the staff report, that have a similar condition and have been allowed to have signage that does not face a street frontage. We are not seeking any additional square footage. We're actually significantly under what we'd be allowed if we had street frontage. And at the same time, it's important to note that the center overall is under the square footage and still has 276.1 square feet of remaining square footage for any other tenant coming into the center. So it's not like we're snagging up all that additional square footage or remaining square footage. There's still a significant amount left. We feel that this is what we need in order to highlight the space. It's consistent with what's seen in the community. It's zoned for community commercial. That's exactly what we're trying to do. It's a service to the community overall. If you're interested in what the business does, I would actually turn that over to Jess because she would obviously be able to speak much better to that. But in regards to the signage, it's a minimal request compared to, I guess, other retail businesses that we've had the pleasure of representing. It's under the square footage. It's under the center square footage. And I think overall it will be a balance to the center. And as the center fills up, this will be a tenant that will be a good tenant for years to come and will serve the community. So if there's any questions that you have, I'd welcome the ability to answer them.
Okay, great. I don't think I have any other questions at this time. Was there anyone else on the applicant owner side that wanted to say anything before I turn it over to the zoning division?
Yes,
Sure, go ahead.
my name is John Nesky again. The owner. I have a correction to make to Charlie. I think, I believe it's Charlie. This property has frontage on Glenway Avenue. This property has frontage on Crookshank and Glenway. And it has visibility off of Glenway also. So we go all the way up to Glenway Avenue. This property does. Champion Real Estate Group. And I don't understand why we have to go for a variance. If you go back behind us, west of Crookshank, there's identical building as ours, L-shaped. It has signage all over, on all sides. But I'm still kind of a little confused why I had to go for a variance on these buildings. Can anybody explain that to me?
Sure. Did you want to, Charlie?
I was just going to say, just John, it's based on how this property itself is configured. It's just the way that the code is written, and John, we're following the process as outlined by the city, and this will help get us through it. So,
yeah, John, I'll also say that I can certainly take into account if there are neighboring properties that are enjoying similar signage relief. But I can assure you that any properties that have a similar orientation and similar signage that were installed after 2004 likely had to go through this same process.
Okay, is the reason for this is because then doesn't have any frontage on Glenway?
It doesn't have any street frontage at all.
It
The
does.
actual,
It does. This property goes all the way to Glenway, if I'm not mistaken, and we got a freestanding building in front of it. There's a
Yeah, I'm so-
freestanding building with the taco time and another portion of it, but this particular property does go all the way to Glenway Avenue, next to
Yeah, so-
McDonald's.
sorry, I should have been more specific. Yeah, the portion of the building, the facade and portion of the building that you're proposing to locate the sign is not located on a street frontage. So not
Okay.
only, yeah, the actual facade where the sign is proposed needs to have street frontage, not just the building itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it did.
Jess, I'm not sure. Did you get sworn in? I thought you maybe.
I get swear
Do you
now.
solemnly swear the
Okay.
testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay. What do you
I
want to
just
say?
Yeah, I wanted to provide some more context from a business perspective. So City Block, we're here to help provide primary care services and wraparound services to communities that are typically underserved. So we have a lot of Medicaid and dual populated cohorts that we serve to try to make the health of these members better and prevent them from going to the emergency room and all of that. Signage is incredibly important for us for ADA accessibility. Like, we don't want any disabled members coming into the parking lot and potentially injuring themselves either, trying to find where our suite door is. So the ability to have a sign at our suite is incredibly important for us to operate as a business as well, and just wanted to share that.
Okay. Thanks, Ms. Tessa. Anyone else from the applicant owner side before I turn it over to the zoning division?
Nope, we're
Okay.
good.
Okay. Kate, anything you want to add?
I think Charlie gave a very thorough presentation, so I don't really have much else to add. I would just say that there are several businesses I noted within a very short distance of this property that do have signs, either that face into a parking lot. There is a shopping center where there are 3 businesses, all of which face into a parking lot. So certainly this is a condition that is existing, I would say within a half mile of this business. So it is, the request is not something out of the ordinary. It appears to be fairly common in this area. And we would recommend approval.
Okay. Thanks, Kate.
Thank you.
All right. Anything in closing or otherwise from the applicants, owners on this before we adjourn?
The only question I had, sir, and I would be remiss if I didn't ask, is typically I understand that the turn time on decisions is around 2 weeks. We are in a pinch in regards to timing on the project. Is it typically a full 2 weeks, or does it normally happen quicker?
It varies quite a bit depending on the current queue of cases that I have, which is not insubstantial right now. But yeah, is your timing are you saying 2 weeks would be a problem, or you just want to make sure it's within 2 weeks?
Well, Lisa froze, but Jess, if I'm not mistaken, that 2 weeks hurts, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think we're just trying to understand the timeline for the decision, understand there's a lot of stuff in the queue and it could take up to 2 weeks. If there's any potential for us to get a decision earlier, of course, we'd love to know as soon as possible. But to gain an understanding that it wouldn't be longer than 2 weeks as well, I think is what we want to confirm here.
Yeah, I can confirm that for you, but let me say this first. So I've had a chance to review the application materials, the staff report. Based on that and based on the testimony that I've heard here today, which I agree with, I am going to approve the application. So hopefully that gives you
I think that definitely helps.
Something to work with. Yeah. I don't know if there's anything you can do knowing that official approval is coming. I have to formalize that approval in a written decision. That's typically what takes 2 weeks. And when I talk about the queue, it's just actually finishing each of these decisions from hearings over the past couple of weeks. And so it will be approved. Kate won't be able to approve the zoning permitting on her end until she gets that official written decision. I can tell you that will happen within 2 weeks, but I'll also tell you that I'll do everything I can to expedite that and get it out to you as quickly as possible.
Greatly appreciate it, sir.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that people have time constraints and you want to get the signage up as quickly as possible. And so, yeah, we're sensitive to that, and I'll do everything I can to get it to you as quickly as possible. Once I finish that decision, I put it into a PDF and I email it to everybody who's in the hearing here today. So you all have a copy of it really just moments after it's complete. Kate will be on that email as well. As soon as Kate has that, like I said, she can go into the system and approve the permitting on her end. And hopefully you all can move forward at that time.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, sir. And again, Kate has been great to work with. So thank you so much for all your help.
Thank
Great.
you very much.
Thanks for sharing that. Good luck with the project, guys, and with the business. And hope you all have a great day. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
You
Bye,
have a nice
everyone.